Good morning, New Faith, and welcome to New Faith Sunday School lesson. Today is September 13th, 2020, and the title of our lesson today is God Rewards Obedience. Our Bible background is from Genesis 41, 14 through 57. Our printed text is from Genesis 41st chapter, 25 through 33, 37 through 40, 50 and 50 through 52. And our devotional reading comes from 1 Peter 5th chapter, 5 through 11. Our keep in mind is, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath shown thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according to thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Genesis 41st chapter, 39 through the 40th verse. Today is another lesson on Joseph's journey. And what I wanted to give you here is a little bit of background. In the 39th chapter, Joseph right now has been delivered basically unto Pharaoh. And with him being with Pharaoh, they saw how good Joseph was. He was a very prosperous man. They were very happy for him. But when Joseph came there, he had found grace basically in Pharaoh's sight. And then by him finding grace in Pharaoh's sight, especially in the Egyptian's house, he was well liked. So Pharaoh basically made Joseph Lord of his home, basically just his administrative assistant, if we can use those words. Where he ran the house, he ran Pharaoh's affairs, he took care of business for him, he made sure things got done. But in the midst of him being able to do all these things, Pharaoh's wife also caught eye of Joseph. And she, many times in the 39th chapter, tried to come up to Joseph. She basically wanted him to sleep with her. And Joseph continuously rejected her. And so one time the house was basically kind of empty, and she approached Joseph, and Joseph still refused her. In the midst of the refusal, he said unto her, I'm loyal to your husband, and I would not do this. And by his wife, she got upset about it. So as Joseph ran away, she started to scream out. And what happened, she grabbed part of his garment, got left there. And then she had told a lie on Joseph, basically, and said unto her husband that he tried to subdue her. And that's not what happened. So what happened, Joseph got put in jail. So during that time, Joseph being put in jail, now we're at the 40th chapter. Joseph was in Roth. He was put basically in the dungeon in the jail. And also being put in the dungeon in the jail, Pharaoh became upset with two of his servants, his cupbearer and his chief baker. So whatever despised Pharaoh also put those two individuals in jail. And even though Joseph was put in jail, Joseph still had favor among God. God still gave him favor in that dungeon where Joseph had charge. He had some work he had to do. He would go around and see about the other prisoners inside of the jail while he was there. So in the meantime, while he was there, the cupbearer and the chief baker also had a dream. The first dream we're going to talk about to bring us to where we're at, it was the cupbearer. He was saying that he had dreamed a dream. And his dream was that his hand had grapes and preserved, and he just pressed them onto Pharaoh's cup and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, this is an interpretation of it. And he told him that these 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head and restore thee unto the place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup unto his hand, after the former manner when thou was his butler. So again, Joseph, when he came about and he was making rounds basically, he looked at the man and he said, well, what's wrong? Or he told him about his dream he had. Then Joseph interpreted. Then the other prisoner, the chief baker, he heard Joseph interpret his dream. He told him the same thing. He explained to him, what had happened. And Joseph answered and said unto him, he said, in the uttermost part of the basket was all manner of meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat of them out of the basket upon my head. So the baker had baskets on his head. And he said in his dream It was baked meats there. All what happened was it was the birds out of the air came and ate it out. And Joseph had told him, say, well, let me tell you the interpretation of this dream. It was letting him know that what? It tells you in verse 20, and it came to pass that Pharaoh was going to kill him. He was going to hang him. And so Pharaoh, in 3 days, all these things did come to pass. It was Pharaoh's birthday. I guess they were having a nice big party. The chief butler, he came back, he pressed the grapes, gave it to Pharaoh, he was restored. And then with the chief baker, Pharaoh he sacrificed him, he hung him, he murdered him, basically, and showed the people his head. And he was hung, and the fowl did eat upon his head. But in the midst of him, in between this time of Joseph giving a little bit of insight to the butler, he said to him, but think of me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. So on verse number 14 in chapter 40, once he had interpreted the dream of the chief butler, he told him, now when you get out there and everything is good for you and you back on your feet, mention me to Pharaoh. Don't forget about me. Tell him about me. Let him know I'm down here. But of course, when he had gotten out, he did not, he was doing so well. He was at the party. He was having a good time. Joseph was not on the chief butler's mind. So the chief butler basically forgot all about him. So now we're going to come up. Now we're coming up to our chapter where we're at. And Joseph saw the years had came by. So now we're on the 41st chapter, basically where we're at. So we're going to give you a little rundown here from verses 1 through 8. Basically, Joseph had some years came by, 2 years have came by. And Pharaoh had some dreams. Now, what I learned about the Bible, I wanted to know about dreams. What does dreams mean? So I went into Job, and I went to the 33rd chapter, and I read the 14th through the 18th verse. It said, for God speaketh one, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of a night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men, and stilleth fear and destruction, and that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from the perishing by the sword. So when I thought about dreams, I'm like, why did God come to a dream? What is the Bible? What does the Word of God say about a dream? So I wanted to figure out, why do we dream? And why, the old saying to be saying that God came to me in a dream. Why is that so important to dream? So God gets you where he wants you to be. Because when you lay it out and you're in the dream, your mind is at rest. And so God can do what? Talk to you then. He can give you some instruction then. And have you ever had a dream where you woke you up right out of your sleep and you thought you were living right in the midst of that dream? Basically, that was what's going on with Pharaoh. He just couldn't believe that he was in those dreams. So now we're basically on chapter at verse 25. And Pharaoh basically had told Joseph about the dreams. The first part he said, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat fleshed, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them on the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. The ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh woke up out of it. He couldn't believe it. He woke up out of a dream. Then he went back to sleep. He had another dream. And now the 7 ears of corn, they came up. And one good stalk. So if you could get 7 ears of corn out of one good stalk, if you did any garden, that's a good thing. He said, then behold, thin ears and blasted with east wind came up after the corn. So then there's some bad corn that came up. It was scorched. It was burnt. He said, and the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass, I'm on verse number 8, in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians in Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but none of them could do what? Interpret the dream. So they all talked about this. They all didn't know what to do. But the butler, now all all of a sudden Joseph came back to his remembrance. And he said unto him, he said, Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. So now he thought about it. He said, he told me to tell Pharaoh about me when I get in good ranks. So now he was feeling kind of guilty. He was feeling kind of bad because since he got back on the other side, he ain't thought nothing about Joseph. He just put Joseph off. Joseph was not in his mind because now he was back where he wanted to be. Verse 10, he said, Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me inward the captains of the guard's house, both in and the chief baker. And he said he dreamed a dream, so he was telling the musicians and chief people about what he happened, him and the cupbearer, how they had the dreams, they both had these dreams that came to pass, and based on Joseph. Joseph was the one. So he said, it's a man there. So they said, let's go get this man. So Pharaoh summons him. They cleaned Joseph up, made Joseph look good before he come, present himself before the king. And then the Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there was none that can interpret it. And I have heard say to thee that thou canst interpret a dream to interpret. And Joseph answered to Pharaoh, saying, It is not me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer peace. So Joseph, you have to remember where he's at. He's down in a place where they had a lot of pagan worship. They worship a lot of idol gods. But Joseph, in the midst of everything he's done, he still gave God the glory. He didn't take no credit for anything he done, not a dream he had said or a dream he had interpreted. He gave God the glory. He gave God all the praise and let them know, it's not me who's doing this. This is the Lord God himself who is interpreting these dreams, and I'm just his instrument. I'm the person being used for this, for you to be able to understand what is going on. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dreams, behold, he told him about everything that happened. He said, and behold, 7 other kinds. So Pharaoh told Joseph all the dreams I just told you about he just had. That he wanted now, he needed to have an answer. So when you go back and you look at Job, and he said, God, that's when God gets you. So then now we have verse number 25, and it said, and Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. So Joseph was telling Pharaoh, it's a dream, but God is giving you some revelation here. So if we go back and look at Job number 33 again, he's telling him exactly what's going to happen. So sometimes when we have dreams, we have to realize we can't tell everybody our dreams. Sometimes you got to hide them in your heart. You can't say, I had a dream, girl, this happened, I had a dream, this happened. You got to have a right godly person when you tell that dream to that can interpret that dream and give you godly advice, not their opinion of the dream based on what they think they know, or based on what they know about you. You want a God interpretation of your dreams, because when you wake up and you've had a dream, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It says in here, that said, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. So he told him, Joseph was telling Pharaoh, he told you what he's going to do in his dream, but let me help you out here. Let me give you some explanation. He said, the 7 good kind are 7 years, and the 7 good years are 7 years. The dream is one. So he's telling him, you had 2 different dreams, but both of them have different meanings. So in number 26, verse 26, he said, that means in these 7 years, you can have some good times. You're going to be in the land of plenty. That you're going to have some good cows, you're going to have the best of everything, your crop is going to flourish, your fowl is going to grow, they're going to have much babies, you're going to have the fat of the land for the next 7 years. This is what's going to happen to you. He said, and the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty years are blasted with the ears of wind that shall be 7 years of famine. So he's telling him, you're going to have the 7 years of good, and now you're going to have the 7 years of famine. You're going to have some good, and you're going to have some bad here. So that's where we're at right now. We're at 26 and 27. So Pharaoh's trying to tell, Joseph's trying to tell Pharaoh, you have to understand what God is telling you. You up here right now. And for the next 7 years, 7 of completion, you're going to have some good times. But after that good time, you're going to have, 7 years of famine. I mean, it's going to get bad for you, Pharaoh. You need to understand, what are you going to do? God has a plan. He's giving you a warning. It's a saying, in his word, he said, warning comes before destruction. God tells you things. It's up to you to interpret what he's trying to tell you, or ask him, God, can you reveal for me? Give me a revelation with your word, with prayer. What does this mean before me when things happen? So you'd be like, man, I didn't see this coming. No, you probably saw it coming. You just didn't acknowledge the warning signs. So sometimes you got to look at things when it's before you, what's said before you, what you're reading, and ask God to give you meaning. You can read this word, you can read this Bible every day, but it had to have application in your life at that given time. So when things start happening, have you ever noticed our Christian women and New Faith family here? Then you could probably pull on the word. Some of us grew up in church all our life, and we heard all these scriptures all our life, but then all of a sudden something happened in your life, then you can pull on that word. So you got to know when you have some famine, you got a word to pull on, and also you got to still remember when you have a feast, you still got to have what, a word to pull on. Because God is going to do exactly what he said he's going to do, because his word is not going to lie. It's not going to come back void, but you got to be willing to see that vision and get an interpretation from him. You can't tell everybody what's going on in your life. Sometimes you just got to truly talk to God when you have a dream. God, what are you trying to let me know? What are you trying to give me? He'll answer you. He'll talk to you, and he will answer you. Number 28, it says, this is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. So he's telling him, you know what he's about to do, he done told you. He's going to show you exactly what he's about to do, and you need to get prepared, Pharaoh. You need to have a plan. Number 29, it says, behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Not only are you going to be good, but everybody, your whole block, your whole neighborhood, everybody's going to prosper. Everybody's going to have so much abundance, you're not going to be able to recognize it. You're not going to be able to use it all, eat it all, wear it all. You're going to have so much abundance that you are not going to know what you're going to do. But then when 30 comes, it says, there shall rise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. See, sometimes when everything happens, now that you had good, God's telling him, now you're going to have some bad. And then no matter how bad it gets, everybody know how good, bad it gets. You seem to forget about what happened before. See, nobody's telling you, nobody's going to remember Pharaoh, the good that happened these past 7 years. So that's why when you had that vision, you saw the good. Then all of a sudden they ate up the other one, they destroyed the other one, and it went away. See, ain't nobody going to remember all the good. They're going to only look at the situation right now. So if I can tell any of my Christian brothers and sisters, say, don't look at that situation right now. It's true. It could be reality. It could be going on right to this day, but don't ponder on it. You can't stay there, because the 23rd number of Psalm says you're going to go through some things. It didn't tell you to stay there. So you got to understand. You got to trust in God. You got to look at his word. You got to read his word. And when trouble started happening on the left, don't forget about the good that God has done. So sometimes we always look at the bad and we forget to pray. We get so weak sometimes. We just so focused on that. Your mind has been took to the other side. You forget about God that woke you up this morning. You forget about he started you on the way. You forget about your kids, well, they came back and forth from school. They had no armor days. You forget about that paycheck that's been deposited every day. Matter of fact, you got your right man and your strength. You forget about those things sometimes when something consumes you so bad. You forget about the glory of God. And right here, when I look at this, he's telling you, don't forget. Some people, when things happen, you forget about all the good somebody has done to you or done for you. You can only focus on that one bad thing about them. They done helped you. They've been your ride and die all your life, and all of a sudden something happened. They couldn't come through. They wasn't able to help you, and if they was able, they wasn't available. I love Reverend Randolph when he talked about that, because sometimes you get mad at them, you don't even want to talk to them. But that's not right. God is saying, don't forget about the good. And sometimes the bad can get before you. You don't have all you can think about is all bad things. I'm telling you to stop that right now, because that's not what the vision is supposed to be about. Even though it's happening right here, you still got to do what? Pull on that prayer. You got to go to that prayer. He said, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. He's telling him right now, it's going to be so bad that what's going to happen to you going to be so bad, you ain't going to be able to think about anything good. You won't forget about all the good things that has happened to you. And sometimes it's just a word just to let you know that's an act. You got to think about all the goodness in the midst of your storm. It says in the midst of the storm, you got to pull up that praise. In the midst of the storm, you got to look toward the hills which cometh your help. And sometimes you got to, he said, I'm going to throw it in the sea of what? He going to leave it right there. He going to throw it in the sea, so don't you go get it. But sometimes it's hard when things come upon you. You can't even think about good things because it's so much trouble all around. It's trouble everywhere you go. You can't even think about yesterday, how great it was, how great yesterday was because of the situation that's at hand right now. So you have to think about these things. And this is what Pharaoh's trying to tell him. Even though as good as you being, as plenty as we're going to have everything stored up, they're going to forget about all this good time. Because the bad is going to be so grievous, it's going to hit them so hard, they're not going to be able to conceive the goodness that they have had from yesterday or even this morning waking up. And number 32, and it said, and for that, the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass. So he's letting them know, if you didn't believe that first dream, let me give it to you one more time. Let me get your attention one more time. See, if you didn't think I was going to stop you then, God is saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to stop you right now. See, you didn't believe me the first time when I told you not to do that. So let me give you another vision so you'll know I'm going to do it the second time. So he's letting them know that if I didn't get your attention once when I woke you up, let me get your attention right now. So sometimes you know how you wake up in a dream. I think about this. You wake up in a dream like, man, that's just a dream. And you go back and you back in the same type of dream. It might not be the same dream, but you go back to the same type of situation. You're like, oh, who is this trying to tell me? This is when you got to pray to God. See, God had you when it was quiet and you was laid out. Your man was supposed to be sleeping. It was supposed to be at some type of rest. But then even though your eyes was closed, don't you, a dream gets in your mind and you can even vision. You have vision in a dream. So when you look at this thing, when I look at Joseph, when he was telling Pharaoh, you had a vision in this dream. When you didn't even realize you were asleep. God gave you a vision and he told you exactly what he was going to do. So if you didn't believe the first time you woke up, I'm going to give it to you again. Here's the second time. Now you're going to believe me? Are you going to believe what I'm trying to tell you right now? Because he gives you warning. God gives you warning in situations. But we have to have what the vision and the mindset to listen. And if you don't know what to do, you got to get on your knees and pray and ask. God, what does this mean? Give me a word. Give me a signal. Give me a sign. Give me some knowledge. Throw something remembrance of me. Well, how does this correlate with your plan for my life? When we say to him, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So God, if this is your vision for me, you put this in my dream. What show me, God? Tell me. What are you trying to let me know? What do I need to do, God? Where are you trying to send me, Lord? What do I need to know, Lord, in this dream? And it said, and for that dream, it was double unto Pharaoh. Because this thing established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass. So he was letting them know, now it's going to happen. So you just get ready, Pharaoh. It is going to happen. So you need to get prepared. Number 33, it said, now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man, discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. So right now we have verse number 33. Pharaoh's like, okay, if this is going to happen, who am I going to find? I need to get somebody to take care of this for me. I'm not able to do this. I need somebody who's wise enough, who got a plan. Every day you get up, you should have what, a plan in your life for things to happen. You should have a plan. How you know how you get up in the morning? Even though you know my father-in-law used to say, man plans and God laughs. Even though you might have a plan, if God's giving you a warning for something, you got to prepare. See, God said, I have plans for your life. He know the plans for our life, but then we got to do the preparation while we're down here. So if God gave you a vision, that's why you have to trust him and understand what is his goal for you. What is his plans for you have? Because then you got to trust him. That's why you got to pray. You got to read his word. You got to ask for his directions. So don't ask him to order your steps if you're not willing to follow the steps. Because sometimes we like to do it our way. God don't need no help. We know that. But then you have to understand, if he give you a vision, it's going to come to pass. Because his word shall not come back void. 33 says, now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man who's so wise and who can set him over the land of Egypt. So Pharaoh knew right then and there that he needed to find somebody who can rule over the land of Egypt and take care of them in feast and famine, where the people can do what, still live, that they don't fall short, that they can still have food. So Pharaoh knew he needed a plan. Now from verse number 34 all the way to 35, 36, 37, and 36. During that time, Pharaoh had what told Joseph. He had commanded, let's go out here, let's collect all the food that we can. Let's start building what storehouses up. We need to plan for this next 7 years. But Pharaoh had to have somebody who was capable of doing this. Everybody's not a great leader. Everybody don't know how to lead. Everybody don't have a plan. So when you look at the book, verse 75th number of Psalms, you have to understand when you get inside of the leadership role, you have to know the God's plans for your life. You have to understand, what are you supposed to do? What is your role? How well can you do your role? Everybody can write a resume. Everybody can tell you about their experiences, but when you get in this situation, what is your plan? How you going to take care of peace right now? How you going to take care of famine where things will be okay? So your parents will tell you put a nest egg on the side. So where is your nest egg at? So Joseph had to have a nest egg built up for the next 7 years, so that with the land of Egypt, that they would not it won't be so grievous that they still won't go hungry. They would still have food. They would have flock. They would have some things that they can fall back on and make it through these next 7 years. So sometimes you gotta have a plan. Your plan is your prayer, your praise, your worship. What is your plan, God? You got to get up every day. You can't be mindless. You got to have a man woke up and stayed on him. You got to have a man kept on him. He said, because that gives you what? Perfect peace. And you got to have the peace of God on your mind when you wake up every morning. And then he said unto him, and the thing that was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can you find such one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is in? And then he said, we need to find somebody. We need somebody God-fearing right now. We need to find somebody who know the word of God. Because if this is going to be God's thing, well, I want somebody close to God, somebody who walks with God, somebody who talks with God. I need somebody to lead my people and take care of this people, somebody who know the Lord. So this is his charge and his command. 39 it said, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all of this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. God gave Pharaoh wisdom. He let him know as all the dreams you had and how you interpret those dreams. You went out and you knew right now, let's start planning. I know right now, Joseph, you're the one. So I'm going to give you charge over this project for the next, what? This is 14 years. 7 years of what? Good. 7 years of what? Them being taken away. And 7 years what? Of having famine. Because we got to survive. You have to know how to survive in this world. When I look at this, God said, only way they're going to survive is do what? You got to pray. You got to have a vision. You got to know his will going to be done on earth as it is in heaven. But you got to do what? You have to trust him. Number 40, it says, thou shalt be over my house. And according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So even Pharaoh knew, he said unto Joseph, you're going to rule my house. It means you're going to take care of all of my affairs. You're going to make sure how my house is ran. You're going to make sure how the land of Egypt is ran. You're going to have to take care of the business. And he needed somebody God-fearing because everybody can't be in leadership. Because you got to have God to be able to lead. Otherwise, you just walking alone. You ain't got no father. Because you're just taking a walk alone by yourself if you're going to lead and you don't have God. Because God, what draws good followers. You draw Christians when you do what? Have a good walk with God. So he was saying unto him that you're going to rule all my people. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said to me, even though I'm on this throne, I know I'm not greater than you. You're going to have what? You're going to have the prosperity of God guiding you. You're going to have God right by your side who's going to help me lead you to get my people for what you do. So no, they're going to know me, but I'm only going to be here because of order of command, because I am the Pharaoh. But you are the one in charge. So when you get that type of authority and someone puts you in charge, you have to be able to understand that. And verse number 50, during this time, Joseph, he got basically commanded by Pharaoh. He had did what? He had went out and got a wife. People were coming to him when famine came. It did happen just like the word of God said. They forgot about the good times. They forgot about everything they had done that happened before. Now they're just grievous. And Joseph is able to help them. He's able to keep the people during this time. So that's why you have to watch who's around you, what plans you have in store for yourself. Even though they said don't worry about tomorrow, his word of God says because tomorrow will take care of itself. But God didn't tell you not to have some type of plan in place. You still have to think a little bit about what you're going to do. How you going to take this? How you going to praise? Well, how you going to worship? If you got to get up and go to work, what jobs or tasks you may have to complete if you work in a leadership role. So you have to think about it. You have to look a little bit far off sometimes. Don't get too carried away in it because tomorrow is not promised to us. But God didn't tell you not to have a plan. Don't have something built in your mind that's positive, that's toward what prosperity, toward what greatness, goodness, walking right, doing right. You should have some type of plan in your life that you want to do what to prosper as long as it's what within the will of God. And then in verse 50, Joseph now had got married. He, even though he was not of living of that culture, he still recognized God. He didn't let his wife or nobody turn him from God, even though they were pagans. They didn't believe, they were idol worshipers. He still gave God glory. So in the midst of wherever you are at, you have to stand out among everybody, no matter what's being said before you, what's surrounding all around you. God, thank you for this revelation here. You got to know who God is. Because something will be said over here, something will be said over there, something's going to be done over here. But you don't have to conform of the world. You don't have to conform to the things that's before you. You got to do what? Trust and lean on God every day. You got to believe He's going to do just what He said He's going to do. He said, because we have not, because we ask not. But when you ask God for something, let it be of a good heart. Don't just ask for things just because you want it, to hurt somebody, to get over somebody, to do something ill-minded with it. When you ask for something, ask sincerely and let it know, because it's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your soul, your mind, something that's godly, something that's going to press on toward the higher mark, not something that's going to do what? That you're going to be what? Coveting of. That's are not the things you're going to do. Verse 50 said, and unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which was Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Massena. For God said he have made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. So what Joseph is saying for here, now I got a wife, I got family, even though I have my family back there, I don't remember those bad things. God had removed that bad tainted heart from me. The bad that happened, it don't feel that way to me anymore. I feel a little bit good right now. God took all that bad past from me and He gave me abundance. He gave me abundance. He gave me a wife. He gave me a son. He has taken care of me. He did just what He said He was going to do. He took care of my past. He can take care of your past where you don't have to live in your past. Everybody can always write a story or bring up a paraphrase of your past, but you got to live in your glory right now. And that's the glory of God, the glory that God has before you right now. And asking God, remove those memories from me. Remove that past from me where I don't dwell on it no more, Father, where I can live, Father, and I can enjoy this time that you have given to me. And then He also said, verse number 52, and the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So you have to realize something, saints. No matter where you at, your land of affliction could be your home. It could be your job. It could be at a pit. It could be anywhere you are. God can make you prosperous in those surroundings. You don't have to move from job to job. You don't have to always move from department to department. You can stay right there because He said He'll do what? He'll prepare the table before you in the presence of your enemies. So he can make you great in the presence of individuals. He can make you great in the presence of your situation right now. So don't always move. Ask God to do what? To help you, to ordain you, to sustain you in the midst of it. And that needs you to pray. That needs you to praise. That needs you to do what? Also seek Him. Seek good things after Him, not worldly things, not things that you're going to do what? Begin to idolize. Seek things that's going to do what? Fulfill your soul and His mission for your life. Another verse I want to bring this to you is something about being biblical. You have to understand, even though Joseph got married, he was somewhat not equally yoked with his wife because they weren't what God believes. But then you can do what? His whole example, he still gave God the glory. So in a land of non-believers, you still give God the praise. You still got to be the Christian that you are. You're not supposed to change and conform to them. Your goal is to what? Bring them up to you and conform to God's will. Because you want to do what? His will have to do what? Prosper. The next thing I want you to know is also that God tells you He knows the plans He has for you. So even though Joseph from his brothers from his beginning, the jealousy, how he was treated, how he was sold, Pharaoh's wife lying on him. He got thrown in a dungeon. Do you know something? Joseph never gave up on God. He still believed. He still carried out his mission. And anytime somebody asked him to interpret, he never took the credit. He gave God all the glory. So stop, give God the glory for the things you have. Give God the glory for the prosperous you have. And then you got to believe. You have to believe. If you look at the lesson, he told Pharaoh, he said, God is telling you what he's about to do. And you better believe if it's written in his word, it's going to come to pass. So you got to believe in God. Because he said that you got to believe and trust and believe that he is who he say he is. So when you have these visions, he starts to interpret them. Come to him sincerely. Don't be calling no soothsaying lines. Don't be calling no astrology. Pray on it and ask God to give you an interpretation and wisdom. And then look at the vision. When you look at Habakkuk, he said to what? Do a vision, strike a vision, make it plain. You have to write that vision. So whatever that vision you have before you, in Habakkuk 2, is it 2? Yeah, Habakkuk 2:2-3. He said, the Lord answered, he write the vision, make it plain on tablets. So what? You may run, whoever come to it, they will have to read it. So you got to put it in here. You got to put it in your heart. Whatever the vision is, put it in your heart. He said, for still the vision waits. It's appointed time. So even though Pharaoh had these visions, it had to come to play and come to terms in God's appointed time, and that was 7-year span. So even though you have this vision and you can tell God what you want in his appointed time, in his will on earth as it is in heaven, as it is on earth, if that's what God wants you to do, it's only going to come to pass at his appointed time, not your time. You cannot rush God. So we have to remember that. And he said that it will what? It hastens to the end. It will not be. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. So when you asking God for something, just wait on it. Pharaoh, in this lesson, couldn't wait. He needed to have a plan because it was going to happen. He had to have a plan for the good, the plenteous, and for the bad. But he needed somebody also in charge who was what God fearing. And he knew himself he couldn't carry out the task. So he needed to have somebody appointed in that position who was ordained by God, who feared God, who knew God's plan and understood God to carry out the mission. I thank you so much, my class and my New Faith family, for being able to bring this lesson today for September 13th, 2020. God rewards obedience. Please don't forget about us. Please don't forget about tithing when you're able to, supporting us on Facebook and Instagram, and I believe it's another social media. Just remember the church is open. You can always call the church for any needs that you have. I do want to take time out and pray. And thank you, God, for Heavenly Father, for this day. I thank you for pressing us here, Father, even though we may not have to leave our homes, Father God. People are standing before me, and I'm glad you set me down, Father, and you showed up, Father. Yes, you did. You showed up and you showed out. I thank you for using me to deliver your word. It helped me, Father, just as much as I know I helped somebody out there. Father, deliver us and keep us, Father. Don't let what we see in this world take our vision away. Keep our dreams, Father God. Help them interpret people who may have needs right now. Give them the answer. I'm standing in petition for somebody, Father, this has to be there right now, God, Father. So watch over everybody. Protect us, Father. Seal our homes, Father God. I know you can heal this land because you said it ain't nothing too hard for you, and there's nothing that you can't do. So, Father, I'm summoning up to you, Father God. I ask you to watch over Pastor Randolph and our first family. Watch over our choir. Watch over our church members. So, Father, when we open the church, these doors, physical doors, will be open, Father God. We will come back again, Father, praising you even more, Father, giving you the greatest praise that you ever deserve every day, every hour of our life. I thank you, Lord God, for using me, Father God. Please, Father, watch over me and